Hello everyone. Thanks for joining us for another Ask Here live studio session. My name's Joan, my pronouns are she and her, and I'm a student recruitment officer at Memorial University. Today I have joining with me Becky McHugh, Dr. Karen Daven-Williams, and Olivia Parsons from nursing, who are here to answer all of your questions about their undergraduate programs. So before I get started, I do have a couple of housekeeping items to go over. So this session's being recorded, just so that you know if you're participating, you're consenting to that. Your mics are muted and your video's turned off. So that's just to easily facilitate the session and lower our bandwidth a little bit. But there are other people attending this session with you here today. It's not just the panelists, but you are only going to see our cameras. But the main reason we're here today is to make sure you get your questions answered. So if you have any at all, please use the question and answer feature within the WebEx platform that goes to all panelists. So it says Q&A to all panelists there on that little option in the menu on the right. And today's focus, of course, is nursing, so we're going to keep our questions related to them. And if we have a question that you ask and we don't get to during the session, don't worry, we'll either direct message you or send you a follow-up email afterwards, and you can forward your question to there as well. All right, so to get us started, I'm going to ask each of you if you can tell me a little bit about yourselves and your role within nursing. So the first person on my screen I have here is Dr. Karen Daven-Williams. Would you like to start us off?
Sure. Welcome everyone to this Q&A session. My name is Karen Daven-Williams, and I have been a professor in the Faculty of Nursing now since 2005, and I've been a nurse for a lot longer than that. So I teach in the undergraduate and graduate program, and strongly recommend, if you're interested in nursing, that you apply. Certainly a field that is well in demand now. We've all learned that from the pandemic, and the reward that you feel being a nurse cannot even be put into words when you're able to care for people at the most vulnerable times in their life and make such a difference. So that's kind of me. So welcome to the session.
Thanks for joining, Karen. And Becky?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming today. So my name is Becky. I am the admissions coordinator for our 3 nursing sites. So that is our site in Corner Brook at the Western Nursing School, the Center for Nursing Studies, and Memorial's main campus in St. John's. So I actually review the applications as they come in each year. I also respond to any questions that anyone has regarding their application, any inquiries about preparing to apply to nursing. And I also do a little bit of recruitment as well, such as today, giving some information about our program.
Great. Thanks, Becky. And Olivia?
Hey guys, thanks for coming. So like Joan said, my name is Olivia Parsons, and I'm in my last year of nursing here at Mon Faculty of Nursing. I'm originally from Corner Brook, and I did do some school out at Grenfell, but then when I applied to nursing, I decided to come to St. John's, and I love it. It's been one of the best decisions I made, and I've been having such a good time in the program.
Fabulous. Awesome. So just to get us started, just a reminder, it's the Q&A to all panelists function within the WebEx platform that you're going to want to be using to submit those questions today. The first question we have coming in here is about what major areas and degree program options you have within nursing.
Sure. So we actually just have the one program. It's called the BN Collaborative Program. However, there are several different admissions options to get into that program. So there's different routes that you can take once you're accepted. So our most common admission option would be the 4-year program. This is open for students who are applying directly out of high school, or if you're a current MUN student or a current university student, you can apply to the 4-year program. We also have the accelerated option. So that is a 3-year program. It's basically going over 8 consecutive semesters. There's not really any break besides your usual Christmas break and your break in between the winter and spring semester. And then we also have our Lpn Bridging option. So that is for students who are current licensed LPNs within Newfoundland and Labrador. And you can start that option every year in May, and that again is 3 years. So that one basically bridges into year 2 of the 4-year program. So you're going to knock off a year essentially. And then, like I said in the beginning, we also have 3 campuses where you can take the nursing program. So we have our campus at the Western Nursing School in Corner Brook, and we have 2 campuses in St. John's, which is the Center for Nursing Studies, and MUN's main campus.
Thanks, Becky. The next question we have here is for Olivia. So what does a day in a life of a student in nursing look like? Would you be able to weigh in on that for us, please?
Yeah, so being a nursing student is definitely challenging, but it's super rewarding. Different depending on the semester you're in. So typically in your first year, you have mostly classes before you start the clinical portion. So especially in those first couple semesters when you're learning like your anatomy and physiology and therapeutic communication and all that important basis for your nursing development, like definitely a lot of long classes, but you meet some really good friends and they help you get through it. Lots of studying involved, and labs are really good. I know at the Faculty of Nursing where I am, as well as the Western School, and I'm sure the center has it as well, the learning labs, the simulation labs, those are really helpful. And then when you start clinical is really busy, but really rewarding. So typically during the semester, you'll usually have clinical, say like Monday and Tuesday, and then your classes and labs on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But then you do have some big blocks of clinical, such as your preceptorship and your independent or your consolidated practicum, where you're not actually in class, but you're just doing like clinical. So for example, I just finished up preceptorship a couple months ago, and so that was 8 weeks of just clinical following an RN schedule. So sometimes it can be really busy, but definitely worth it, and you get through those 12-hour shifts.
That's fair. Sounds like a lot to juggle, but really rewarding in the end. Hey.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Awesome. Our next question is for Becky, I believe. So students wondering, is there any difference between the accelerated program and the regular program in terms of content? Is one more beneficial than the other?
Okay, so there's no difference in the 2 different options in terms of curriculum and courses that you take. They are exactly the same. The benefit to the accelerated program obviously is that you finish a little bit sooner, and of course, like I said, there are no semesters off in that program, but you will get your degree sooner, which means hopefully you'll get a job sooner. So that's the big benefit there. But in terms of actual content and curriculum, they are exactly the same.
Great. Awesome. And just a follow up to that one, you mentioned earlier that you can study at the 3 different sites there. Is there any difference in taking the degree program on the St. John's campus versus Western Regional versus the Center for Nursing Studies?
So again, there's absolutely no difference in terms of curriculum, the actual program itself, all the courses are the same. Of course, the only difference is your physical location. So depending on if you want to attend the Center for Nursing Studies, they take the majority of our students, and they're located kind of towards downtown St. John's on Forest Road. Or you can attend at MUN's main campus, and that nursing school is a part of the health sciences, which is very close to MUN's main campus. And then, of course, the Western campus is located in Corner Brook, whereas that's actually where I'm from. And Corner Brook, I've heard that it has its benefits in terms of smaller class sizes, and of course, you can take some of your non-nursing elective courses at the Grenfell campus. So it all depends on your preference where you would like to go.
Great. And next question's for Olivia. Students wondering when you first came into university, how you made friends within your cohort or your class.
Well, actually, when I came to nursing, I remember the first day of orientation where they kind of went over like welcome to nursing school and like you signed up for the nursing society and all that kind of stuff. And I was really intimidated, not gonna lie, because there was nobody in my class that was from the western portion of the province. So I remember going in the first day and being like, oh my gosh, like there's 60 people here, like I don't know any of them, like, and it was really intimidating. But you know, at least at with nursing, like you are kind of like a big family. And people said that to me, but I never really thought much of it. Like, you know, like they're your classmates. But like every day, like you spend almost every day with these people for 4 years. So you really get to know them. And I remember my first week of nursing school, like I remember I was like, I have to make friends, like, and you kind of feel stressed, understandably. And I remember my labs, we were sitting at tables, and I could tell that a lot of other people didn't know others as well. Like they might have knew someone from like a community over or something like that. But I remember going into my lab and I just saw these two girls sitting at one table, but they were kind of on opposite sides of the table. And I was just like, is anybody sitting here? And they were like, no, no. And I ended up sitting by them, and two of them are still my really good friends, like today. So like I have a really close group of like 5 best friends, and nursing is really good for that because I find where you're all in the same classes, you're all with the same prof, like you're doing the same work, so you can all relate to each other. So it's really easy to make friends, and especially in clinical, like everyone's always a little bit stressed starting clinical and clinical situations, but being in a group with probably 5 or 6 other students for your clinical group, you definitely start to rely on each other and help each other out, and you just become good friends that way.
Quickly getting to know each other. Hey,
Yeah, definitely.
awesome. All right. I think the next question might be for Dr. Daven Williams there. Students wondering how many days a week you would typically do clinical.
So it's dependent on the course. As Olivia had already said, sometimes our courses are offered in blocks. So for example, at the end of the winter semester this year coming, we will have a 2.5-week block of clinical. So students will be going to a long-term care facility and learning how to care for individuals in long-term care. Then other courses that we have, there may be 1 8-hour day, or there could be 2 8-hour days together. As you get further into the program, that's when you get the longer blocks of clinical, such as Olivia had mentioned, the 8-week preceptorship where you follow a registered nurse's schedule. Or in 4th year, you do a 10-week independent clinical where, again, you're working the same schedule as a registered nurse. And the interesting thing about MUN's nursing program, and this is across the 3 sites, is when compared to the rest of Canada, we actually have the highest number of clinical hours in all of Canada. So that means one-on-one with the patient, taking care of real people. We have lots of simulated learning as well in the Learning Resource Center, where you learn in a safe environment how to perform different skills and how to interact with people. So it's done in simulation first, and then when you go out in clinical, you're with a clinical instructor, and it can be a group of anywhere from 5 to 8 students with one instructor. And that's when you actually are going out taking care of real people. So we make it safe for you at first in the simulated setting, and when you get out there in clinical, you're with real people.
Awesome. And so the next question, I think maybe everybody might want to weigh in on this one, but folks are wondering how you can be more involved within nursing as a nursing student on campus and in the community.
So I can probably start off with this one. So the across the 3 sites, and I know they have it all 3 sites, but I'm just more familiar with MUN's Faculty of Nursing because that's where I go. But at least at our school, we have a nursing society. So the way that the nursing society works is in each class, so any of the regular stream and any of the accelerated program, they have like an elected council. So there's kind of a council for that, which mostly focuses on your class, but then there's also the general nursing society. So the society plans fundraisers and activities for the nursing school, but they're also really involved in the community. So one of the big things that the nursing school does that MUN Faculty of Nursing, like in MUN's main campus, pairs with the Center for Nursing Studies, is the charity ball. So that's when we host like a really big event where we raise money and people donate stuff. So we have like an auction, and usually all the proceeds go towards a really, really good cause. And it's super awesome. Like one year they had like entertainers there. They had like a hypnotist and stuff like that. So it's a really fun evening. And all the proceeds go towards a charity, like I said. And another thing that we're involved with is the Red Dress event with the Heart and Stroke Foundation. So that's raising awareness and money for that cause. And I know at the beginning of the year, usually MUN participates in the Shinorama as well. So that's a really big thing that they start recruiting students for over the summer, like collecting the Shinorama shoe boxes and stuff like that. They collect money for that. So that's really good in the sense of at school, but also outside of school, there's lots of extracurricular activities and skills that you can use well. So like I know a lot of places in the community love having nursing students volunteer as well. Like I volunteered at Planned Parenthood for a spell, and they really liked the fact that I was a nursing student because it kind of gives you that basis to be able to talk with people and that therapeutic communication and stuff. So there's lots of application to nursing.
Awesome. And on campus, we actually have a student volunteer bureau where students can go and check out different volunteer opportunities that they might want to get involved with, even as a nursing student. So that's really great. The next question we have here is about academic advising. How early can a student get in touch with an academic advisor in order to start planning out their courses?
So can meet with an advisor in the actual academic advising center any time of the year. And you can also message me any time of the year because a part of my job is to provide advice about how to prepare to get into nursing. So if you want to know about courses you can take to prepare or make sure that you have all the prerequisites done, the best thing to do is to email nursingadmissions@mun.ca. That is the best way to get the information because I'm actually the one who's going to be looking at the application, so I'm pretty knowledgeable about what you need. So certainly send me an email if you have any questions at all.
Great. And folks, just to remind you, we're a little over halfway through our session. So if anybody's joining us now or halfway through, we are using the Q&A feature to all panelists to submit those questions. Alrighty. Next question we have here is for Olivia, and it's about what the most challenging part of your transition to university life was, and how you got through that.
There's definitely a couple of challenging things about transitioning to university, especially like coming out of high school. I didn't directly go into nursing out of high school. I did a year at Grenfell. However, a lot of my friends did directly go into nursing. But definitely some of the hardest things about nursing and transitioning to university in general, it'd be, I would say, the time management. So nursing especially is definitely a very busy program with clinical and classes and labs, all thrown at you at one time. So I know that one thing that I found really helpful was like in the beginning of a semester, like when I get all my syllabus, like planning out my 3-4 months, whatever it is, putting all the dates, knowing when stuff is due, keeping on top of it. And one thing that I love about nursing too is that the faculty are really helpful and they're here for you and they understand. So I've had so many times that like we've gotten syllabus at the beginning of a semester and the professors, I think Karen, you did this in second year, like they look at what you have going on and how many assignments you have, and they take that into account. And if they feel that you have too much going on, they don't mind moving it ahead a week. Like they're really understanding. And also too, like I find not waiting on things. So like I'm really guilty of procrastinating, and I think to myself, I'm like, oh, I have a couple weeks for that paper, like it's fine, I'll do it next week. And I'm sure everybody's like that, but I found that by actually getting started, because you're definitely going to have questions and you're going to want to know stuff, like getting started, emailing the prof, asking your friends, like not putting stuff off definitely made that transition easier. And one other thing too that I found challenging was like I mentioned before, coming from Corner Brook, like I didn't exactly know anybody in my class. So like getting involved and being on nursing society and signing up for things and like just being around people, like it made it so much easier to like make friends and transition moving from home.
Awesome. And next question is about high school students wondering what they should do to be prepared for their nursing courses. Do you have any tips or tricks, Dr. Daven Williams?
I think key to doing well in nursing courses is making sure that you have a good background in your biology, in your chemistry, because you will, and those are prerequisites to go into the program. And having a good knowledge of those and having good math skills, it doesn't mean that you need to be an expert in calculus, for example, but having good math skills, I think those are all really strong skills to have for nursing. That's probably what I would recommend the most. And we don't accept a huge number of students straight out of high school. But there's still a way to go into nursing in that nursing has elective courses. So they're non-nursing courses and they're electives. And one thing that you can do coming into your first year of university, if you decide that you don't want to come straight from high school, is you could start to work on getting some of those electives done. And then that makes your program more manageable then as you get further on. I'm sure, like Olivia said, she did a year of studies at Grenfell. During that year, you can get some of those electives done, and it can make your course load a little bit lighter so that you're just having to deal with nursing courses than when you're actually in the program. So, that's something that I would recommend. Making sure that you have a good background in biology and making sure you have your good background in math and chemistry is important.
And if I could just add to Karen's comment, if that's all right there, Joan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like with the electives, like I didn't originally plan on going into nursing, so I only had probably one or two of the electives done. But what I found easiest to do, and what a lot of people end up doing is like, especially in that first and second year, like you only have courses if you take the regular stream, that is. You only have your courses in the fall and winter semesters, so you have your spring and summer off. So trying to get as many of those electives done in those off semesters really, really helps when you're in the midst of everything as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for that, folks. And I'm recognizing that we're coming near to the end of our time together today. So if you folks have any last tips or tricks for our incoming prospective students that we have with us, I'd love to hear from you.
I would just say make sure that you understand the admissions requirements, and they're clearly outlined on our website. There's actually different options there depending on if you're a high school student, if you currently attend MUN, if you're attending another post-secondary institution such as College of the North Atlantic, because sometimes we get students applying and they didn't know that they actually have to complete their chemistry, biology, and math first. They didn't know they have to complete the 6 high school courses if you're currently in high school. So definitely make sure that you understand that and prepare in advance, because nursing is a competitive program, and that means, of course, not everyone's going to get accepted. So yeah, definitely just be prepared.
I would add to that as well, Becky. I agree. And this year we have another admission requirement, which is the Casper exam. And this is, there's specific dates for writing this, and you can find that information on the nursing admissions website. And because there are specific dates for writing it, you want to take note of what those are now in the next month and a half, because you will have to have that done as part of your application. You'll also need a reference as part of your application and your own personal statements. So just make sure that you do look at all the requirements. The other thing that I would suggest as well is don't limit yourself to saying, I only want to go to MUN Faculty of Nursing, or I only want to go to the Center for Nursing Studies, or I only want to go to Western School of Nursing. I would recommend that you indicate that, you would go to all three if that's feasible for you. Same thing if you're applying for the accelerated program. Don't limit yourself to saying, I'm just going to apply to the accelerated program. Make sure you give yourself lots of options so that when the admissions committee meets to look at all the applications, you won't just be in one pool, because you wouldn't want to miss out on being accepted because you only picked one site or you only picked one way of doing it. So, and another example of that is the LPN program. If you're an LPN and there's a limited number of seats in the Lpn Bridging program, you as an LPN might not get accepted to the Lpn Bridging, but you could get accepted into the 4-year option. So just keep that in mind as you're applying.
That's great. And I will just say that on the application, you can actually select your first, second, and third choice campus. So you may not get accepted to your first choice, but if we have seats left over, we may give you an offer for your second or third. So don't just put your first choice in there. Definitely keep your second and third in there as well.
Awesome. And Olivia, any last tips and tricks from you?
I guess my advice to students that are looking to apply would be, if you're considering it, then apply. Like, there's no harm in applying. I was half on the fence and I got in and I love nursing. Like, I wouldn't change it for the world. But not just that, like, if you apply and things don't go your way, like you don't get to go where you want, or you don't get accepted that first time, like, don't be discouraged. Like Karen mentioned, like, take some time, do some electives, like reapply. Like, some of the best nurses I know, like, didn't get in their first time. So just, take it day by day, and like, if it's something you want to do, you'll find a way to do it.
Awesome. Great advice, folks. So thanks to our panelists for joining us today. Also, big thanks to all of our attendees for tuning in. If you have any other questions at all, feel free to email us at admissions@mun.ca. If you'd like to stay connected with us, you can check out our website, mun.ca/undergrad, and fill out the request for information form. Also, coming up next week, we have an open house that you're going to be able to hear from all of our different faculties, schools. You can connect with current students, get information, ask them questions, and just get updated on what's going on at Memorial. We also, up and coming after that, on December 8th, our next session is going to be with education. So if you're interested in hearing from folks in the Faculty of Education, certainly tune in for that as well. All right, everyone, that's it from me. Take good care.